All right, got everything set up. I have a script on the side of my phone right here in case I need to read it. So here we go with this video. So it's about the lack of third spaces and why America doesn't really build third spaces in that's not that's not close to where people live. This is what this video is about. Whenever I think about it, everyone is always in their cars whenever that's going to a grocery store. Um, what else? Driving down to a local fast food place or just going to a bookstore. If you're living in a car dependent area, then you have no choice but to drive in your car. It's an absolute necessity. Well, unless you live in a car free or car light area, then you're basically set. I want to go over why the United States in particular doesn't have any third spaces that are close by. And sure, or why am I starting? That doesn't have any third spaces at all. I mean, sure, we do have bowling alleys, arcades, movie theaters, and stuff like that. But the issue with that is we have to drive to those places, even though it could be a 10 to 15-minute walk from wherever you live. It shouldn't be that way, but that's just the reality that we live in. But the United States was not always like this. It only became prevalent was because of World War II, which led to the mass destruction of cities. And later on, the government wanted to prioritize cars, which in name only was because, and correct me, well, it's not much of correcting because I did research on this, but it was mostly the car manufacturers and the automobile industry wanted to push cars being built, and so that the government actually accepted that idea and then passed on laws that restricts any residential with commercial areas being in the same space. And that's what made cars so prevalent in majority of the United States. That's also the reason why all of the interstates and highways were also built too. It was to bring cars to life, and also the whole introduction of suburbia, which also known as the American dream. And I'm not saying driving is a bad thing. People have their own preferences. But when it comes to whenever you decide on where to go, like arcing back to the grocery store, what's the point in driving there if you can just walk or bike to get the stuff that you need throughout the week? And there should be a whole system around pedestrian friendly areas where they're not solely driving to one destination to another. They should have the freedom to either take public transportation, walking, or cycling to their destination instead of ugh, solely relying on driving. Also, since we live in a car centric area, why not add like a metric system? Subways or streetcars. I think it would make total sense. I mean, think about it. You're not trapped in a, how do I say the word for cars? A fuel efficient vehicle that's producing loads of gas from the exhaust pipe and getting into the air, which causes pollution, sort of, but it's not really good for the environment in the long run. I've been doing some research on this topic, so I'm gonna try to give my take on it. And this is political, by the way. So the government should focus on prioritizing people over cars because, for one, it gets people active, and some people aren't really that active, so which it would make up for it. And also it could improve the economy as well. With the mixed use developments, it can really do wonders for the community too. And also, I think it could help with loneliness as well, since I know most people are struggling to find connections with other people. And with the mixed use design, people can have bonds over each other with interests. They can talk about their issues they have in life and maybe form good connections. It's a really good way to express yourself to different people and find your authentic self to the people that you care about. In my opinion, I would love to find a community like that. And me being in the suburbs right now, it could be a huge improvement too, like adding local shops that's within the suburban neighborhood instead of having to drive all the way 15 to 20 minutes to a Walmart. And with the car aspect, it could, how do I say this? You'll pay less money for gas. Yeah, that's the word. Gas is totally expensive, and yeah, especially if you drive throughout the week, yeah, it can add up. Also, another improvement with the suburbs, how about adding like a central park? It would be good for the kids who are in the neighborhood to interact with other kids. I feel as though it would be cool to have. I mean, think about it. People, and not just kids, but people of all ages can go to this one park, interact with each other, and build connections with one another. That would be a good way to build a suburban neighborhood that is done right and not feel so hollow and lonely. And also, public libraries and cafes, they could also do that as well. If you're into reading, maybe join a public library. It would help, or also a book club as well. There are also stuff out there. This is going to be a part two to the Driving Sucks video, since there's a lot of stuff that I didn't quite get from that video, and also I didn't add any images to the Aunt Jemima in that new logo, so I will remember my future self when editing this video. So yes, remember. So harkening back to that Aunt Jemima situation, here you go. And I will also give you some examples of the McDonald's that used to look like back then and compared to now.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm not really sure why they decided to change what made those stuff special in the first place. Me just realizing that it just seems kind of, I don't know, seems lazy to me, to be honest. Harkening back to the McDonald's situation, even Minecraft Steve can create a better looking McDonald's than that. You know, ah, I'm genuinely curious. Does Dope Island has a YouTube channel?